everyone, this is Weekend Warrior Nate, your overlord here with...
Weekend Warrior Dave.
We're here to do our first Malifaux March Madness battle. We are doing a 50-point Soulstone scrap. I am playing the Dreamer and Neverborn.
And I'm going to be playing Resurrectionist and Nicodem.
Fantastic. Our scenario today, our strategy, grand strategy for today was going to be Turf Wars with a scheme pool of Plant Evidence, Breakthrough, Vendetta, and Protect Territory, and as always, Line in the Sand. So Dave, what you got in strategy for your army?
Well, it's Turf War, and whenever it's Turf War, I think I'm going to need to bring a lot of undead, and I'm going to need to pop them up, especially going against Dreamer, and more importantly, Mr. Lord Chompy Bits, who I'm sure is going to be visiting us. So I took a lot of ability to summon more undead, some fear, to kind of equal out with your willpower trickery, and hopefully I'm just going to overpower with undead models. That's my real goal.
Traditional zombie strategies. Drown them in bodies. My strategy is pretty simple. My core selections has been the Dreamer, Widow Weaver, Copelis, a pair of Teddies, and a Stitch Together. The rest of the army of Alps and Daydreams are also going to be summoned to cause more shenanigans as the battle goes. As Turf War is about mostly focusing on taking the center, it's going to turn into a brawl, and it's just a matter of my heavy-hitting endurance versus his tide of bodies at this point, and the schemes to really see who shines through in the end.
Right. I think it's really interesting because we're both bringing a lot of summoning. So you're not, what you see on the board in the beginning is definitely not going to be what's going to stay there. It's going to, there's constantly going to be shifting. I think you're going to be bringing in Alps and Daydreams, and I'm going to be dealing with all these little guys running around, and I'm just going to be trying to drop more punk zombies and bells and anything I can actually get on the table at this point. So my actual starting is going to be Nicodem. I took Mortimer with my favorite shovel, because it's my favorite. I took Toshiro with Command of the Grave and also Corpse Blow. I took Yin because she's awesome. I took 2 punk zombies, and then I have 1 Ashigaru. That's my starting, but that's not what you're just going to see today, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Upgrades I have are Tantrum, Restless Dreams, and I'm going to give Otherworldly a try today. I was really debating on that one or Handbag for Widow Weaver, but I just figured, well, the option to summon a Teddy would be pretty fantastic. It'd be really hard to pull off, and I don't know if it'd be worth the 2 points to try to put that much investment into it.
Yeah, kind of tough. That would be a tough call for me too, because I think with your summoning ability and just the bodies dropping everywhere, I think she might be able to do it in this game. But I think going with what you chose might also be a better way, because you're cool, because you get to drop, what is it,
the web markers?
The web markers, and that's really going to be a lot of fun to see, because that's going to, undead don't have started with the greatest willpower, and her being able to throw those out, I think, is going to be a game changer.
Between those and Daydreams, I could potentially knock somebody's willpower down by like 5 or 6 pretty quickly. I can get people down to 1, 2 willpower and have fun as you try to make TN 12s and 11s all over the place to do anything.
5 willpower off on my undead is really going to be bad. They're just going to stand there undead. So, but we'll get. I guess we'll get going, and we'll let you know when we get.
We'll see you after deployment, and then it'll be post turns from there.
Sounds good.
All right, guys, deployment has been completed. Dave, let's walk us through what you got.
Okay, so we had flank deployment. I placed Yin up here because she flies, so she's unimpeded. I've got a punk zombie hiding out in back, Nicodem right here, Mortimer right there, another punk zombie. Toshiro is right here and being held up by one of his Ashigaru.
Fantastic. At a point into contention here, Dave deployed second in response to my own personal deployment. I decided, since I was deploying first and didn't have any action to work with, I have split my forces with Teddy, Copelis, and Dreamer taking 1 flank, and my other Teddy, Widow Weaver, and Stitch Together taking the other flank. Should be an interesting setup. We'll see which flank holds better. Yin's going to be a point of contention for me. My last couple encounters with him did not go well. Negative flips to all attacks is rough and hard to compete against. Yeah. So before we start first turn, Dave, any thoughts on your general strategy for the turn?
This turn's going to be moving up, popping things up, summoning, and just getting everybody ready to be in the center for where the real battle's going to go. So that's the plan so far.
Fair enough. As my deployment and his counter deployment kind of indicates, this may turn into a encircling entrapment from my end. We'll see if I can close the trap and try to shut him down before he gets too big, or if something else is going to happen. We'll find out at the end of turn 1.
Hey, we're back. So first turn's over. It was a pretty crazy first turn. Basically, my crew moved up this way. As you notice, I now have an additional punk zombie and an additional Ashigaru. So I have 2. He corpse bloated, summoned an Ashigaru. Nicodem, Mortimer dropped a corpse token, and Nicodem turned that into a punk zombie. And so they've moved. The big thing that happened was that Ying came down from here, shot at the Weaver, did no damage, but because it was my first attack and I had Vendetta, I was able to get a victory point. So I got a victory point for Vendetta. And then basically I've just positioned myself. So I have a number of models in the 6-inch area. I've got a lot of hard hitters now. And I had to blow the red Joker just to heal these guys up using Decay. So most of these guys who came in summoned have healed up to almost full. And that's basically what's happened my turn.
For my end, I have continued with the sweeping out. His additional bodies has made the trap wider, but still not impossible. Dreamer flew on top of a building, summoned a handful of daydreams, which then did some lure nightmares to get my teddies in some advanced positioning. Unfortunately, I did make a mistake and put a daydream in a bad spot that forced my teddy to go through the forest, which slowed down his coming to the fight. Copelis is swinging around to the outside to try to widen the net even further. In the middle here, we had the Stitch together, just advance and throw some creepy fog. Not a whole lot of range attacks going on here, but you know, some of them come up. Widow Weaver dropped a web marker right next to the turf marker, just to really punish him for trying to go in on there. And my reaction to Yin was sending Champ Bear after him. Champ performed a walk action, moved up, did a focus beforehand, wailed on Yin, and then slid himself over. So that's the end of turn 1. See you in a bit. So, on a side note, the observant people who might have been paying attention to what I was saying probably counted off 3 actions declared by my teddy bear. Me and my opponent just realized that, and to compensate, we pushed him back 4 inches after, because the move was determined by a melee trigger, a peekaboo. And Champ Bear has walked over to him, and we've declared the attack a miss and wiped clean Yin's damage. Because there's no point going back and trying to redo the combat at this point. So, with that in mind, we will press on to turn 2 finally. Here's see what happens. Hey guys, welcome back at the end of turn 2, and it was bloody. After correcting with our fiasco with Yin, I went ahead and won initiative again, and opened up with Champ. Got a little bit of damage to Yin, dragged Yin off into the backfield, and tried to keep her out of the fight. Did a little bit of damage to Yin, and then some zombies come in there and kind of walked away from me. Dave will explain how all that happened. For the rest of my turn, it was a little bit of positioning, trying to get a little bit of damage on the field. I had the Grump activate, kill the zombie punk that was in front of him, which was then promptly resurrected by Nicodem following activation. Coppelius has snuck around the backfield, dropped a scheme marker, and is making his way around the building, kind of trying to flank him behind. But at the rate things are going, he's going to show up around that building and kind of wonder where the rest of his friends went. Because I have managed to lose both the Dreamer and a Teddy in this one turn to the combined efforts of 3 zombies. It was not pretty, and it's going to be interesting to see how I recover from this one. Dave, what do you got?
Alright, so it was a zombie massacre. Nicodem's a bad man. So what happened was I was getting chomped up by Champ, and I used Mortimer to lure my guys out towards the Weaver who, as we've announced, is my vendetta target. While doing that, I realized that the Dreamer was free and clear for charge. And since he's one of the few things that doesn't have terror in this list that I'm going against, I decided to charge him. I hit the red Joker for damage on my zombie punk, noticing that both Nicodem and Toshiro are within 6 inches of the zombie punk, gave him a 4-card flip, positive flip, and then one of my Ashigaru came in and finished him off. I was able to get fast off on the punk zombie that just got rezzed, and so he attacked the Teddy and was able to kill the Teddy. I've got this Ashigaru already set up for brace, so charging Nicodem would cause damage to anyone. This Teddy's still here to cause some problems, but I have, we both got a point for Turf War, and I currently have a higher model count. But game's still going, so we'll see what happens after turn 2.
Fun little notes, as the total score for VPs is 3-2 to the Resurrectionists. Sorry, 2-1 to the Resurrectionists. And point of distinction is this little guy right here. Hiya, zombie punk. Is paralyzed for the turn. So, one less activation for me to concern myself with. I did catch a break where Toshiro was attempting to charge Copelis, who was hiding behind that building. He's still hiding in there pretty well. He failed, paralyzing him for that turn. Hopefully I can count on some more fails in the willpower department, because that's going to be my best hope in surviving this turn. Turn 3. We'll see if I have an army left at the end of it.
Alright, so that ends turn 3. We're about to go into the turn 4. Welcome back. It has been kind of a bloodfest. Nightmares are popping away left and right. What I've done this turn is I killed the Weaver. That gave me another victory point from Vendetta, but it also cut me off because Yin was not the one that killed her, so I made the max I could make, which is 2 points. Toshiro activated, attacked Copelis, did some damage to him. Copelis fixed that. Mortimer and some punk zombies attacked and killed the Weaver. Yin flew over here, dropped a scheme marker. I had a punk zombie over here drop a scheme marker, and the Ashigaru, after doing the killing blow to the Weaver with his other action, walked over there. Ashigaru did not charge. So when we got a corpse token here, and my punk zombie's gone, so there's a corpse token over there, and that's pretty much what happened with the Rezzers.
For my turn, it started terrible. I had a lot of hopes with starting with Weaver to hopefully take Yin out of the action, attempting to close the web, seize the prey, and give Yin paralyzed and poison 5, so I can kind of walk away and ignore Yin at that point. Unfortunately, my opening attempt to horror duel against her resulted in Black Joker paralyzing Weaver and sending her to her doom. Champ activated and killed Zombie Punk. That's about all. Again, and my attempts to push that any further to make anything better happen all fell apart. Using the Daydream, I have slingshotted my Stitch together all the way over here to start dropping scheme markers. Copelis is surviving for now, but he's not really a match for Toshiro. We'll see how this goes out, and I'm down to 2 random Daydreams that really have little bearing on the battle at this point. So, turn 4. See you in a bit.
Welcome back. We have to tell you that we kind of skipped a little bit because turn 4 didn't really do anything. I think the only thing that happened was you placed a marker.
Placed a marker. My Champ, my Teddy, attempted to go after Yin and flipped a Black Joker for the terror test. Which has been the bane of my existence this game, is Black Joker has showed up every turn and has ruined my critical action of every turn.
Right, so what was the first Black Joker?
Let's see here. Where did we start?
It's the Dreamer, right?
Yes, Dreamer was on top of the hill, attempting to generate waking counters. As taking the Restless Dreams upgrade, my Twist Reality action can increase my waking condition upon damage. Managed to shoot an Ashigaru, flip Black Joker for damage. Dreamer couldn't manifest into Lord Chompy Bits. Dreamer got murdered because of it. Next action, the following turn, was Widow Weaver, attempting to salvage the battle a little bit, one after Yin, attempting to snare the web on her, and flip Black Joker for that terrifying test, paralyzing her, and getting Widow Weaver killed. Then turn 3 was the Champ Teddy, also trying to take out Yin, flip Black Joker, which got him killed.
Yeah, so every single time it was vitally important that he take a character out or that the character be able to do it. I mean, literally, Dreamer just had to score 1 point of damage. And he was scoring, it was a neutral flip. It was a neutral flip.
Yep.
And it was just one card, and bam, Black Joker. That ended it. And Dreamer had already moved down so that when Lord Chompy Bits arrives, he wasn't going to be on the top of the building. So that just left me full target. I think the deck was really against you this game more than strategy. I'm not going to say that the final score was 9-5.
Indeed.
And I'm going to say that it's not all because I was the master player in this. I'm going to say that Nicodem is probably the best turf war caster for the Resurrectionists.
Definitely seemed pretty solid. Between Nicodem and Toshiro, getting a +3 flip to your attacks for the zombie punks was tremendous. Zombie punk activated, took out a Teddy in a single activation. 7-point minion taking out an 11-point enforcer. Not usually something you should see happening in a single activation. Nicodem really turned out to be the king of the hill in this game. My attempts to encircle and try to spread thin were working well in the early turns. Copelas did manage to pull Toshiro off and managed to kill Toshiro, which actually was a little bit of a surprise to me. Copelas tanked out pretty well by Punk doing just enough damage to suck eyes and did pretty decent on his healing flips. Pretty much always kept flipping moderate to keep himself standing. And then the Teddies just... It was a support game for Teddies, and this is the first time I've ever played Dreamer and not seen Lord Chompy Bits hit the field. It feels really weird.
Yeah. Part of the thing about Nicodem that showed in this game is his ability to summon what I need at any given time. So when I was about to lose Yin and a samurai, I realized that Mortimer has the ability to do make all of the undead walk. And so I moved them out of combat for that. And then I was able to summon a Beld so I could pull Weaver away from all of her spider webs so I wasn't getting all that willpower loss, because it was a very hard attack. In fact, in turn 4, the Teddy survived because everything I sent at the Teddy failed their willpower roll. My hand was horrible.
Bought me a turn. It was nice.
Yeah.
It was nice to have some hope. And I lost my first initiative for the game.
I mean, at the end of the game, I had 3 Ishigaru. I started off with 1. I had 3 Punk Zombies. I started the game with 2. I had a Rotten Bell, which wasn't in my starting army. I mean, the ability to bring that many minions into a game where everybody's going to the center really is a huge advantage for Nicodem.
I think my total kill count for this game, including Toshiro, was 4-5 zombies about. And he still ended up with more zombies than what he started with. It was an uphill battle. I mean, it was rough.
Yeah. The benefits for me were the fact that I played really center, so I had Toshiro and Nicodem there giving the buffs. I put, for the first time ever, Corpse Bloat on Toshiro, which is awesome, because he's dropping a Corpse Token and then summoning something. I was able to, I brought in Mortimer into combat, he charged, I got 2 Ravens, dropped a Corpse Token. So there was never a problem with me picking up body parts. And for the first time ever, I didn't really worry about healing anything. I just said, well, if they die this turn, I'll pull them back next. And, I mean, I ended up with 1 Soul Stone left. I never had to do damage flips. It was all summoning. What would you have done different this time?
Well, a little more defensive on Dreamer. When you flip that red Joker for damage on the Ashigaru charge against him, I should have definitely Soulstone prevented that one. I got way too overconfident with his corporal and really wasn't anticipating the second charge. Otherwise, it's really hard to say. There were so many failed attempts at actions. It might have been an idea to try to ignore Yin and go elsewhere. But Yin's really not a character you can afford to ignore. Poison is a thing. I've had many games and lost many models due to poison. And just the amount of resources it takes to kill Yin is very astronomical for this particular army. Telling a Teddy that I can't flurry and I have to focus to land one attack was kind of really rough, really stifled their damage output that I rely on.
Yeah. I was wondering why I didn't see a lot of Alps.
Well, the Alps, first off, Dreamer requires a double mask in his casting attempt to summon an Alp. And for Capellus, it came down to it's a one action and an eyeball to summon an Alp. So it was either doing damage or, and like his last turn, dropping a scheme marker. So it was just those two action points were just really critical and really hard to determine. And I needed to get Toshiro out of my way before I could really afford to do anything.
Right.
I mean, the Alp might have been an idea, but their damage output isn't that good, and Nicodem granting immunity to slow shuts down their chief advantage.
Right.
Because their whole thing is if you activate within 3 inches of them, they force you to test willpower or gain slow.
Yeah. Nicodem is great about that because with Toshiro and Nicodem together, they're buffing up a lot, and everything I'm summoning, I summon in 6 inches. So, and they're immune to everything, all undead are immune to slow within 6 inches of Nicodem. So, really powerful there. I would, we talked about this, and what do you guys think about Yin? Do you think it's too powerful? I mean, every spell, anything that attacks Yin is at a negative, right off the bat. And then damage is at a negative. Do you guys think that that's too powerful? Do you think, how do you guys handle it? We'd love to hear comments at the end of the YouTube. So, we would like to hear from you guys about that. What do you think about the game? What do you think about the techniques? What would you have done?
So overall, my schemes were Plant Evidence and Breakthrough, which I managed to claim 2 scheme markers, giving me my grand total of 5 from my 1 claim of Turf War. And then you were...
I had Plant Evidence and Vendetta, which we announced earlier on in the game when I did no damage to the Widow but still got a victory point.
Aha!
So, yeah, those, and then Turf War. I mean, with Nicodem, you can always keep Turf War. You just, it's really hard. And with this, being able to drop 2 corpse tokens on my own every turn, when it did start becoming an issue, I can always heal.
I've been curious how you use Nicodem in a Reconnoiter. Or you'd probably just switch to another character, I'd imagine.
No, actually, I use Nicodem in Reconnoiter too because I keep him in one quadrant with Mortimer, and I just keep sending out bodies, and I spread them out. So you have to really spread out your forces. You can use, in Reconnoiter, you can use Nicodem and Toshiro as separate entities.
Right.
Powering up, because what Toshiro's doing is he's letting you kill the Ashigaru, and then he's just summoning them back.
Right.
And then Nicodem's just summoning punk zombies, rotten bells, and just spreading them out. And the other fun part is send a rotten bell to the center of the table, and you just have it just lure everything into the 6 inches of the center table so that your characters don't count.
Fair enough.
Nicodem, the big ones that aren't good for Nicodem is when they have to do the assassinate. That's...
You talking about the assassinate itself, or are you talking about Reckoning? We have to kill 2 models a turn.
Assassinating and Reckoning. I give points in Reckoning. I hand my opponent points with Nicodem and Reckoning because I don't heal them fast enough. They don't summon. I'm constantly summoning. They're just killing them to a turn. It can turn really nasty. That's the one that and Line in the Sand actually really not Line in the Sand. What's the other one? What's the other skill?
Turf War?
Turf War. Turf War, not my favorite with Nicodem. Turf War, I played some other Resurrections, which you'll probably end up seeing.
And the last one, Squatters' Rights, is essentially well, this was Turf War. Sorry, Squatters' Rights, the one we're missing.
Right, Squatters' Rights, the one we're talking about with with the markers in the middle, and you have to gain control of them.
That's the one.
Nicodem's pretty good at it, but you know, the better for it is someone like I like Yang more for it. I haven't gotten to pick up my McMorning. I'll be picking it up from here at ShieldBreaker's this Thursday and painting it up, so you'll be seeing him. But I think McMorning's going to be my one of my other big guys. I'm looking forward to that. So
He's an interesting character. I'm kind of curious to see how he functions in a guild format, as guild's my other faction. It doesn't seem like it lends a whole lot to him, but only playtesting and real theory crafting will tell us for sure.
yeah, I agree with you on that. Of course, I don't own any guild models yet. He's actually going to be my first guild faction, but he's definitely going to be. I like him. I like the poison. I want to get that really working, because that's going to make another great excuse to bring in.
Indeed. So, again, this was Weekend Warrior Nate, your Overlord.
And I'm Wiccan Warrior Dave, Mally Dave on the website.
Brought to you by ShieldBreaker Games and Weekend Warriors and Wargamers Consortium. Please like and leave comments below.
Come on down to ShieldBreakers and play us.
Thanks for watching.